This morning, I'm having a moment of clarity. I'm not giving my coaching away for free anymore. And I don't think that's being arrogant. That is finally stepping into alignment, right? Because for far too long, I treated what I do almost like a favor. I was trying to share with you everything that I was learning, but here's the truth: what I offer isn't casual, it's decades of lived experience. It's decades of training and truth telling that changes lives. And that, my friends, deserves to be honored. This isn't about money, it's about energy. When something costs you nothing, you often give it the same value, right? Nothing. I remember when I was a personal trainer, I didn't give away free sessions to see if we were a good match. I learned very early on that people didn't take it seriously. They didn't show up. They canceled at the last minute. When it costs you something, you show up differently. So, no, I'm not charging more. I'm simply no longer discounting myself. And if you've been waiting for a sign to do the same, this is it. It's okay to invest in yourself. In fact, it's some of the best money I ever spent was the money I spent on myself. That's self-care. Self-care is more than the external. Self-care is the way you feed and nourish your own soul. It's the way you energetically connect with people. And let me tell you, when you feel that resonance with somebody, you know it. You might not even understand what it is that you know, but you just feel differently about it. And most of the times we don't allow ourselves to feel those things. And that's where we stay stuck where we are, right? This is about learning to trust your intuition, and you do that in a safe space. Like, we have to realize that you get to release this energy that's kept you stuck. You don't even have to identify it because the body actually knows, right? And that's the thing. When that feeling, that knowing starts to rise up in it, if you're anything like I was, I pushed that away because I didn't want to feel that. That feeling was dangerous. It was scary. And now I know differently. Now I've had the experience of staying with it long enough, using my breath, calming the mind, not calming the mind, not bypassing the mind, because you can't bypass it. When we bypass it, it loops us right back around, right? I'm talking about a deeper work to get into the body, because when we release it from the body, oh my God, that's where the magic happens. And our bodies are the same. They know how to do this. This is the gift of God given to humanity. We just have to know how to receive that gift, right? How to open it up. And for me, I had to be able to find the crack and release the shit that was keeping me stuck in the first place. It's quite amazing. And that's what I did. And it took me a long time because I was in my own loop for over 60 years. Right? So the investment I made, and it was slow in the beginning because it was a process. You don't just go from 0 to 60. I mean, I friggin' wish, but you go from 0 to 1. You got to climb the ladder one rung at a time. And I know you've probably heard that a million times and you're thinking, Vera, really with this? But yes, really with this. And if you have resistance to what I'm saying, that's cool. Like, my job is not to convince you. And here's the thing, resistance shows up everywhere. And I know that because my resistance was solid Mm. But then sometimes you hear something, right? And the best of you starts to be called out. And that's a different energy. That's a different feeling. It's like a different frequency, and you're being pulled to it. I know for me, I was pulled to it, and then I connected with it, and it took time, and it took experience, and it took repetition, and it took hearing it over again, and it took expanding on that little by little. And before you know it, you're standing in it, and it's like, oh my God, and that's a new level, and you have to experience that level. And it's so powerful. In some levels we get through a little bit easier than others, but I can guarantee you, if you've gone over 60 years, right, like I have, some of those levels are going to be a little bit thick. And we have to really be willing to come back to it. Not loop it, come back to it. There's a difference, right? Because when we come back to it, we change the loop. We change the trajectory of the loop, and eventually we're going to find the crack and get out. And maybe it happens the next time around, or maybe it happens the next 100 times around. But the point is this is life, and this is a critical part of the process, right? We have to keep coming back. And when we do this with other people, right, we could heal on our own. Of course we can. But there's something to, I was healing on my own for decades in personal development. I started my personal development when I was about 35, right? And I was in that space. That was the head game. That was the mind game. That was behavior modification. That was mindset. That was all the things, right? That was the effort. That was the do it, the stay up late, the work harder, get into that. Yeah. And then there's this other way of being. And I don't think you could think your way to that other way of being. This is an experience through. And that's what I offer in my work. One of the gifts God gave me is patience. You might not hear patience, but I am always there. Like I am like the Rock of Gibraltar. Like I have always been right there. You could walk away and come back a million times and I'm still right here. And I think that goes for with my kids too. They know I'm like always here. The Rock of Gibraltar. But the rock is always growing as well. So just keep meeting. And then eventually you got to do your own work and get through. That's the bottom line. The work is personal. This work is personal. And your body knows what it needs. And you get to love yourself through it. That's the only way through it, actually, is to love yourself through it. And I tried to tell myself that for decades, positive affirmations, I love myself, never worked. You know why it didn't work? Because I didn't believe it in my body. My body held a different frequency. It held the pain, the shame, the torture that I imposed on myself, actually. After a certain time, we impose that on ourselves. So, yes, I get it. I get it. Oh, and it's so good. And really, this is just information, right? I'm just giving you information. I get to name it because I feel it. And I want you to feel it too. Take a breath. Take a breath. It's the awareness. Like, where does it start? I don't know. It starts with awareness. It starts with allowing. It starts with accepting. It starts with resistance, how you interact with resistance. It starts where it starts is really what I'm trying to say, right? It starts by having better conversations. It starts by being willing. It starts by being willing to, like, maybe consider. Some people don't even want to consider. Just consider what you're hearing. Maybe you're going, yes, oh my God, yes. Or maybe you're saying, are you out of your mind? Right? I get it all. But here's what I also get. I also get people that cycle back, some sooner than others. Some want to challenge the conversation over and over again. And boy, do I love those people, because that was me. I was fighting. And then when I learned where the true fight was originating, inside of myself, oh my God, are you kidding me? Then the acceptance and the allowing and the awareness and all the things had, had to happen anyway. That's the process. So we talk about the process. We talk about all the pieces of the process. And then you get to experience all of it, all of the process. And you have to have an experience before you can actually know what it feels like. You can't think your way to understanding what your process is going to be. You experience your way through it. You're vulnerable through it. You're authentic through it, right? You're seen through it. You're held through it by yourself, by the Lord, by the Creator, whatever you call him. I call him God, by the community, by me. I mean, when you have that kind of support, it is stunning the way you transform. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. I'm not even sure where we started, but I am sure of where we finish. And we finish right here by saying, this is the journey through. It ends when there is no more breath. And I call it legacy in motion. Legacy isn't what I leave when I'm gone. Legacy is how I live to get there. Legacy in Motion begins January 2026. I'm Vera Knight, and this is the Don't Wait podcast. Thanks for listening. And if this episode spoke to you, please leave a review. It really helps others find the work. See you next time. Bye for now.